All right. Hey, good morning. I wanted to share a story with you guys today. Hopefully, give you a little bit of encouragement. Hopefully, give you a little bit of faith. We'll see. I'm going to talk about a story about 2 years ago, coming up to 2 years ago now. I walked into a building with my fiance, and we almost made a decision that would change our lives from that day. We had just found out that we were having baby number 5. And instead of excitement, instead of joy, the first thing we felt was pressure, was fear, was judgment. Financially, it didn't make any sense, and we already had a 1 and a 2 year old. So you can tell, and you already knew that we were exhausted, we were stretched thin. We were trying to deal with even our older kids at the time and some of their issues that they were going on with. And yeah, I can hear all the jokes already. They should have pulled out and all those, should have wrapped it, blah, blah, blah. I've heard all the jokes. But at the time, it wasn't a joke to us. You know, this was real, and we caved. We caved to pressure. So we ended up making an appointment to Planned Parenthood, and that's a day I'll never forget. We walked into the place, and it was just super heavy and felt evil and dark. And I know that Planned Parenthood has all this stuff around it, so I'm not trying to get into that. But what I can tell you is the place just felt off. We're sitting there and we go in and we talk to, the receptionist, get the paperwork and get it all filled out. Yeah, we're sitting there and my fiance is she's crying. And what am I doing? I'm just sitting there, I'm praying, and I'm trying to figure out a reason, and I'm making reasons in my head of what we were doing and the positives versus the cons, the pros and cons, and all that kind of stuff. And I was trying to reassure myself that we were making the right decision as a couple. But if I'm being completely honest, I wasn't leading, I wasn't protecting, I wasn't even comforting my fiance. I told myself I was going to stay neutral because this was a decision that we both had to make. I wouldn't push her one way or another because if I did, then that would influence her. If I told her that this is how I felt, et cetera, et cetera. Like I was just making excuses, and in truth, that wasn't strength. That was cowardice. That was, just being a coward, and I was being pathetic. I had put the entire weight of this decision on her shoulders, and I thought by saying staying silent meant I was being supportive. In reality, I was hiding. I was scared about money. I was scared about the responsibilities. I was scared about what people would think. I was scared whether I could handle another child. And while she was breaking down besides me, I was breaking down inside. I'll tell you what, in that silence, I felt something clear as day speak. And it just said, stop being a coward. As a man, as a father, commit to the life and the safety of your children. It was a direct message, and it really hit me hard because I knew it was true. At the end of the day, I knew that it was all true. Before I could even say anything, the nurse came in and called us back, and I didn't have a chance to stop her because in that moment, like there was just so many things going on, and I froze. I won't lie. But we get to the back, and the nurse starts explaining this process to us, and every step of what they were going to do and what was to be expected. And the nurse was being super empathetic to my fiance, but at the same time, she's still sitting there crying. By that point, I'm in tears now, and then they're like, okay, we're going to do an ultrasound. The room goes dark, and I still can just, I can feel her, I can feel my fiance just shuddering. She's just breaking down. And I finally just said, and I looked at her and I said, I'm sorry for putting you through this. We're not doing it. We're going to keep our baby. We're committed to all of our children, and we're committed to this little one. I didn't know how we were going to make it work, and I didn't have a magical financial plan that just suddenly appeared. Nothing about our situation in that moment had changed except for myself. And that was, I was going to follow God. I was going to follow my faith that I already knew I had, but I hadn't been following it as truthfully as I should have. So I chose to stand up. And now, fast forward 2 years, that little girl's about to be 2 at the end of this month. And man, she has put us through it. Like from her birth, she was a preemie. She came out at I think it was like 3.8 pounds or something. Very close. She was less than a foot and a half and ended up being in the NICU for, some time. And it was a really difficult process. The birth was a difficult process. She ended up having to have an emergency C-section, my fiance, and it didn't end, it ended well, but in the moment it was just chaotic. So, from all the sleepless nights to unexpected challenges, these are the moments that we actually felt stretched beyond capacity. But my baby's personality, I mean, it's bigger than life. Her laugh, her giggles, they just fill up the room, and her attitude, she's going 2 on the 16, I swear. She is my joy and she is my strength to keep going. And every single day, she's proof that we made the right decision, not because it was easy, but because it was right. So now, I want you to listen. If you're in that place right now, if you're staring at the 2 lines on that test with your partner or without, if you're feeling the pressure from friends, from family, from finances, from fear itself, I see you. I know what you're going through. You don't have to comment and tell me your story, but if you want to know, if you want others to know, then I'm here to listen. I just want you to know that you're not alone. I can't pretend to know the exact situation you're in, but I understand it. And I can tell you this, that fear screams very loud. Anger shouts. The pressure is just unbearable sometimes. But that purpose, that righteousness, that truth is a purpose. Take that risk. Take the risk. And I promise that little life might change yours entirely. There hasn't been a single moment where I've looked at my daughter and I thought, I wish I would have taken that other choice, that other moment, and gone through with it. There's not one time that I say, man, we should have gone through with it. Not once. I guarantee you, you will not look at your child and be like, man, why did I have you? So, yeah, I just wanted to share this with you. The peace and love and all that good jazz. But more importantly, I want to just say thank you, Lord Jesus, for stepping in when I was too weak to lead my own family. And I really hope if this story reaches anyone, even just one person who needs it, I hope it blesses you. I hope it gives you the strength that you need to make the decisions and the hard choices, because we're stronger than we think. And sometimes the scariest step forward becomes the greatest testimony of your life. It becomes your story, it becomes the reason to live, becomes the reason to grow stronger, becomes the reason to fight for what's right, becomes reason to be dedicated to something, be dedicated, have a purpose, a meaning in your life. And that's what my baby did for me. And it took 5 of them for her to kick me in the butt and be like, hey, wake up. You have to do something for your family. So I love you guys. Hope you're all good. Leave your comments down below if you like. And if you want to see some more, hear some more stories, I've got plenty. Have a good day.